In this program, we're going to learn how to use many string methods, and we'll also get a look at group boxes and radio buttons. We're going to analyze two words or phrases that are entered into the word 1 and word 2 text boxes that you see and get a lot of information at the bottom. In that empty space, we're going to put a group box and some radio buttons. That'll be coming up in a couple of minutes. First, let's do some coding to analyze the words. We're going to expect our users to type words or phrases in those text boxes. And we're going to have two variables in which we store them. We'll call one of them strwords1, and it will be a string. And we'll have a second one. We'll call it strwords2 as string. And we want to put the text that's in those text boxes into those variables. But we also want to make sure the users actually did type something into those text boxes. Otherwise, we're not going to waste our time setting our variables equal to that and going through all those string methods. So we're going to have an if here. If txtwords1.text has nothing in it, or if txtwords2 has nothing in it, we'll use string.empty. If that's for either one of them, that's a problem because we need them in both. We've got to have text in both of those. So if either one of them lacks text, we're going to give them a message and tell them that they need to put some text inside both text boxes. We'll just make it a very simple message box. And again, we'll use or above that because if it's either one of them missing text, that's a problem. And really, nearly all the rest of the code for this BTN Analyze Click event is going to go inside this else part because now we know we're okay with the text box entries. So the first thing we'll do is actually assign the values that were in those text boxes to our variables strwords1 and strwords2 because we know we're in good shape. There's actually text inside there. Let's go ahead and put it in the variables and we'll be ready to proceed with the rest of our program. Let's test this out and make sure it really works. Left them both blank, we got the message box. We'll leave the second one blank, we got the message box. We'll leave just the first one blank, and we got the message box, so we're in good shape there. Now we're going to compare these strings. Characters have Unicode values. There's actually numeric values associated with characters. Lowercase w, uppercase V, the space character, when you press the space bar, that has a Unicode value. So we can actually compare characters and strings. If strwords1 equals strwords2, then we're going to put a message inside a label to say that the words are equal. We're using ampersands on this line to concatenate the strings, strwords1 and the string literal is equal to, and then the variable strwords2. That way they'll actually see those string variables, the words that are in them appear. But we'll also check out else if strwords1 is less than strwords2. And we'll put a message in the label as well. This time we're going to use plus signs to concatenate the strings. That works just the same as an ampersand. In fact, in a lot of languages, you use plus signs instead of ampersands. Both are fine in Visual Basic. Just getting a quick reminder to ourselves that either one is okay. So once again, in that top situation, that's where the words are going to be the same. Here, they're not. It will be interesting to see what we notice about strword1 and strword2 when we actually run this. Well, we'll just use an else here because if you're not equal to and you're not less than, you must be greater than. So we'll say that strwords1 is greater than strwords2. And of course, what actually is in those strings will appear in this label. So look at many of these examples coming up. See if it's what you expect or if you're surprised. Because capital letters come before lowercase letters in Unicode, it's less than. Of course, cat alphabetically is less than dog, but here you go. Lowercase cat is greater than uppercase cat because it comes later in the Unicode. Again, later alphabetically. Capital letters come first. See if that's what you expected. Space is also a character. It has a very low Unicode value. This is probably not a surprise. 4 is greater than 2, but look at this. We'll compare 4 and 20. 4 is greater than 20. Remember, this is more of an alphabetical thing. It's not a numeric comparison. It's a string comparison. And in that case, because it's an alphabetical sort of a sorting thing, the number 4 you see in that first digit spot is greater than the number 2. All right, let's get ourselves a group box. You saw it over there in the toolbox. This is where our radio buttons are going to go. The 3-letter prefix would be GRP if we were going to give it a name, but we're not going to do much with it. We'll just change the text to say select a word. You can change the back color, the fore color, and the font. There are lots of things you can do with a group box. This video can only be about 15 minutes long, so you're not going to see many of them right now, but feel free to experiment. You can change colors. Now to radio buttons. You see that we grabbed them out of the toolbox, and we want them in our group box. We do need to rename these, and the 3-letter prefix is RAD. So we'll call this first one RAD word 1, and we'll change the text property to say word 1. We'll call our second radio button RAD word 2. And also change its text property to say word 2. Now, in a group box, when you have radio buttons in a group box, exactly one of them must be checked. No more, no less. There is a way to put an invisible radio button in a group box and check it. We'll cover that at a later time. But right now, we want to have word 1, that radio button, be the default selected one, the one that is checked. And you see when the program runs, it's checked. When we check word 2, it unchecks word 1. Remember, exactly one, no more, no less, radio buttons in a group box must be checked. We're going to continue coding inside the else part. Remember, we had this if-else structure way back when we made sure that the text boxes weren't empty. So we're going to stay careful and make sure we're inside the else. And we're going to display information about our words. If rad word 1 is checked, if that checked equals true, well, you know, we don't actually have to say equals true. It's okay if you put it there, but you can also just say if rad word 1 dot checked. By default, Visual Basic and many other programming languages know that that means if that's true. And we're going to display a lot of information about str word 1. Otherwise, we're going to display information about str word 2. And we're going to actually leave that part blank for you to fill in later. Let's now check out several methods that are available for us for strings. First, we're going to find out what our strings would look like if they were shown in all uppercase or all lowercase. And that's what we're doing right here. We're taking strwords1 dot ToUpper. That will return a value showing strwords1 in all uppercase. It does not change what's inside strwords1. It just takes what's in strwords1 and displays it in all uppercase. And now you can see how we're going to code lowercase. It's strwords1 dot to for ToLower. And that will show our string in all lowercase. And again, I want to emphasize, it does not change the value of the string. It just shows you what it looks like. It returns a value whether they're all uppercase or all lowercase. So we'll type giraffe, some uppercase, some lowercase. And let's look at what happens. There's giraffe in all uppercase, and there it is in all lowercase. The variable strwords1 still had giraffe in all kinds of upper and lower cases. Well, what if we would like to find out how long a string is? Or in other words, how many characters are in a string? Well, that's going to be strwords1 dot length. And that will return how many characters are in a string. So for example, if we type in the word elephant, well, elephant has 8 letters in it, and look, the length is 8. What if we'd like to find a particular letter? We're going to try searching for the letter lowercase m. So we'll use IndexOf, strwords1 dot IndexOf, and in parentheses we'll put, in quotation marks, lowercase m. Here's the word cement, all lowercase, and there is a lowercase m in there, and it is in position 2. We start counting with 0, 1, 2. That's the second position, 0, 1, 2. We start counting with 0. Here's macaroni. That's in the 0 position. Again, we start counting with 0. How about a capital M? We get -1 because there is no lowercase m. Anytime you cannot find what you're looking for, an index of it returns -1. However, users might be confused by that. So we're going to make an if. We're going to actually give them a message. If strwords1 dot IndexOf m does not equal -1. That's what you see with a less than greater than sign. If it doesn't equal -1, we're in good shape, because -1 is the indication that it doesn't exist. There is no index of it. So we'll put something small here, not available. That'll fit inside our small label that we have on our form. That's a little more useful than a -1. You could also look for more than one letter. We can check multiple letters here. If we're going to look for the combination of MAC, that starts at index 0. If we use cheesy macaroni, well, it does exist, and it will start at index 6. Again, I know we're going to be short on time in this video. If we just had cheesy MACARONI and didn't have the C in there, it would not be found because it is looking specifically for the combination of lowercase MAC. If it happens more than once, it's going to return the first time that it occurs in the string. Well, we can also find out if a string is numeric. It's a little different looking. We use if IsNumeric and then put the string inside parentheses. IsNumeric is a function, and we give it a string, and it will return true or false whether or not there's a number at the start. So if we get a true, notice I didn't use equals true. If IsNumeric strwords1, if that's true, we'll say yes. Else, well, that means it's false, we'll say no. Well, dog is not a number, and it says no. However, 75 is a number, and we get yes. The last thing we'll check out is a substring. A substring is part of a string. Like COOK is a substring of COOKIE. Cook is a substring of cookie. OK is actually a substring of cookie. So we're going to use strwords1.substring, and we're going to put two numbers in parentheses. These are actually called arguments. 0, 5. Let's watch what happens. We'll type macaroni into that top box again. And the first 5 characters are MACAR. Here's what the 0 and the 5 mean. The 0 is where we start in the original string. So we take strwords1, and our starting position is going to be position 0, because that's our first number or first argument. The second value, that 5, is how many characters we're going to need. We're going to take 5 characters, so our substring should be 5 characters long, starting in the 0 position of strwords1. If you wanted to start somewhere else, put in a different number besides 0. If you'd like a longer or shorter substring, change that value from 5 to something else. I'll reset, you notice we reset the MACs back to M's, so the program's all set. And now you can try using many of these methods for strword2.